Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, mic check. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Abe, I'm stepping off of it. Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, mic check. Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Abe, you want to turn it up some more? You good? Testing, testing, mic check. Darryl, what you thinking? Hey, bring it up a little bit. Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, mic check. Testing, testing, mic check, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, mic check.
One, two, three, four, five, six. Rayburn room check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Welcome, everyone, to day 8 of the Democrat shutdown. As is our custom now, we'll come out every morning and give you an update on where things stand. I've tried to make this as simple as possible and as digestible as possible. It seems complicated, what's happening in Washington right now. It actually is very simple. Don't let the Democrats distract you and try to convince you of things that are not true. Yesterday, or a couple of days ago, Monday, I laid out 6 simple truths about how the Democrats shut down the government, why they did it, and why it is so important for them to come to their senses and turn the lights on. Yesterday, I went through 5 fast facts for you about the shutdown, and I explained, as everyone now knows, Chuck Schumer's desperate attempts to rehabilitate his own image by shutting down the government. Today, we're going to talk about some of the consequences of that shutdown and what it means to real people around this country, real Americans experiencing the devastating cost of their political antics here. And I'm going to read you some sample quotes and headlines that we just collected yesterday from around the country. Here's a headline from The Hill. GOP leaders point to Capitol Police missed paychecks as shutdown drags on. So today, the U.S. Capitol Police officers are going to come to work to bravely protect U.S. government officials and staff in these dangerous times. They're going to do that without pay. Many Democrats in this chamber, by the way, I want to note, are going to receive paychecks this month while the men and women of the U.S. Capitol Police who are protecting them will not. Here's another headline from the New York Post. Aviation groups warn a government shutdown will delay aircraft safety inspections, maintenance work on critical equipment. While air traffic controllers are going to continue to serve in their posts, thankfully, critical safety inspections are going to stop, increasing risk for air travelers. That affects everybody. Here's another headline from Georgia, local media in Georgia. Central Georgia food banks prepare for surge of new clients during the government shutdown. It's a sad headline. Remember, Georgia's 2 Democrat senators, Warnock and Ossoff, have now voted 5 times to keep the government closed down. 5 times so far. I suspect they may continue, and they're hurting real people in the state of Georgia. Here's one from New Hampshire local media. National parks caught in the crosshairs of government shutdown. Let me point out that both senators from New Hampshire, Senators Shaheen and Hassan, have repeatedly voted to keep the government closed, and New Hampshire's national park sites closed by extension. How about New Jersey? Here's a headline yesterday. Hospital at-home telehealth programs on hold amid government shutdown. You got 2 Democrat senators in New Jersey, Andy Kim and Cory Booker, and they have repeatedly voted against funding these programs, which New Jerseyans rely upon daily. Here's one from Michigan. Michigan nonprofit leaders said a shutdown would be at best disruptive and at worst potentially devastating for local communities. There are 2 Democrat senators in Michigan, Gary Peters and Alyssa Slotkin, and they have voted now 5 times to enable this devastation upon their communities. One more, I could do this all day. Here's one more from CBS News. Government shutdown fears have Colorado food banks bracing for potential new visitors. You guessed it, 2 Democrat senators from Colorado, Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper. They keep voting over and over to keep the government closed. Democrats claim they want to negotiate, but that is already happening in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion. And we brought in the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee this morning, Tom Cole, who can talk more about that. But I just want to say this as I yield to Mr. Cole, and then you'll hear from the rest of the leaders, and I'll take some questions. There is one sad and inescapable fact that no one can forget here. This shutdown is nothing more than political cover for Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. They are worried about the Marxist flanked in their Democrat Party. The Marxists are about to elect a mayor in New York City. That's Chuck Schumer's state, and he's terrified that he's going to get a challenge from his far left. I've noted that Chuck Schumer is a very far left politician, but he's not far enough left for the communists, and they're coming for him. And so he has to put up his dukes and show a fight. So they picked a fight on something that's not even related at all to the shutdown and the funding that we should have gotten done by the end of September. We just need a stopgap measure to give us a little more time to get the job of Congress done. They refuse to do it because they're playing politics, and real Americans are paying the price for it. But let me introduce Chairman Cole, and he can tell you about some of these discussions that have been going on. Mr. Cole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Usually when I follow the speaker, I usually think I should just say what he said and excuse myself right away. But in this case, it is pretty easy. I mean, we've had a pretty decent year in the House Appropriations Committee, all 12 bills out of committee before September 30th. 3 that we are in negotiations on with the Democrats. Those negotiations have gone very well. We're prepared pretty quickly to close once the government's reopened. We could get at least 3 bills done. The president could sign them in. Those things would be immune from a shutdown until the following September 30th. Then we'd pick another group of 3 or 4 bills, and then we would do in cooperation with our Democratic colleagues and start working on that. So the process, honestly, was moving along pretty well, and then we had unrelated demands, obviously related to repealing work the Congress had already done on Medicaid, and then these new discussions on subsidies. And I do want to point out, at least the bill we have right now in front of us doesn't even go till December 31st. I mean, these actions would still, we could do this work and still have time to turn around, as the president and our leadership has pointed out in both chambers, and sit down and talk about these other issues. But it's hard to do much when the negotiations aren't happening simply because the government is shut down. So again, we're prepared to work. I've got very talented counterparts on the Democratic side. They're good negotiators. We've negotiated a lot of labor issue bills together between Patty Murray, Rosa DeLore, and myself, and obviously Susan Collins is one of the best legislators in the building. So it's not like we were going to have a hard time, I think, finding common ground, but you do have to restore the government for that to happen. Democrats are not likely to move bills while they've got the government shut down, because it suggests that absent that, we would be moving through the process as normal, and frankly, in a much better shape than we've been in recent years. So again, I'm just hopeful that my colleagues in the Senate, and it's worth pointing out, a majority of the Senate's already on our side, a bipartisan majority of 55. So this really does get down to Leader Schumer and the bulk of his caucus just simply shutting down the government over items unrelated to what we normally do in appropriation. I've mentioned this to both the Speaker and the Leader because they make these decisions, but you know, we should not be handling Medicaid on my committee. We should not be handling the Obamacare subsidies simply because we don't have the expertise or the jurisdiction to do either one of those things. What we can do is move the bills through the process, make sure that every soldier is paid, make sure that every air traffic controller is paid, make sure that the American people don't lose any services. So we're prepared to do that. Frankly, I think my Democratic colleagues are prepared to do that once we resolve this shutdown, and that's quite simply in the hands of Leader Schumer and the bulk of his caucus. When they make the mind that they want the government up and running, believe me, we'll move very quickly, and we'll try to move away quickly from a CR status to passing bills individually or in small groups, and get folks up and working again, and get the government restored and continue that process as we're supposed to do. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I just yield back.
Well, appreciate the work that Chairman Cole and the Appropriations Committee have done months and months ago to get us in a place where we would be ready to have all of the appropriations in a place where you can negotiate those differences. It was Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries who chose to take their toys and go home, all to appease the most radical elements of the far left, because Chuck Schumer is more concerned about his political job than he is about the jobs of millions of American families. American families' lives are at stake here. Whether or not we're going to be able to pay our troops, whether or not people can get on an airplane and go visit a relative or take a vacation, whatever their plans may have been, are being disrupted. Real lives of real people are being disrupted so that Chuck Schumer can show the far left Marxists in his party that he's having some kind of tantrum and fighting Donald Trump because he's afraid of the far left part of his political base. A lot of people say, what is this really about? And obviously you see Democrats trying to make it about things that have nothing to do with the basic funding of government. The bill that we passed here in this House just a few weeks ago And in fact, a lot of Democrats are having buyer's remorse, but every one of us has a voting card. And weeks ago, Republicans and Democrats in the House had an opportunity to put this voting card in the machine and tell the American people where they stand on a government shutdown. And 99% of House Republicans voted yes to keep the government open while we negotiate our differences. And 99% of Democrats voted no to shut the government down. Some of them are having buyer's remorse, and I don't blame them. They're now realizing the dire consequences that their no vote caused to real families across America. Some of them are begging the Speaker, please bring us back in so they can get another shot at this. You don't get a do-over. They picked the wrong side. They voted to shut the government down. They failed the test. But the good news is they can get bailed out by the Senate. If they really want to solve these problems, if they really want to make sure our troops get paid, which, by the way, we voted for, they voted against, they can call their 2 Democrat senators who have 5 times voted to shut the government down and say, today's the day you can make amends. Today's the day you can open the government up. We only need 4 more votes. It's not a large number. 4 Democrat senators have come to their senses and said, yes, let's open up the government and not have this charade continue, but it takes 4 more because Chuck Schumer wants to have a tantrum. Well, let me tell you what another senator just said yesterday about why this shutdown is going on. He said, quote, this is a Democrat senator yesterday, the point of this shutdown is not just suffering for suffering's sake, but to make a point. So you even have Democrat senators admitting that they're imposing suffering on the American people, but they just want to make a point? My God, millions of lives are at stake. They know they're inflicting suffering on the American people so they can make some kind of point? If you want to have a tantrum, this is not the 3rd grade. This is the lives of American people. Real lives are at stake. Real careers and families. Will they be able to pay their house note come the 15th? That's at stake. The safety of our air traffic control system. So that some senator that wants to have a tantrum can make a point? I think the American people are getting sick of this charade that's going on. They know what the Democrats in the House did to shut the government down. But they also know that just 4 senators doing the right thing can turn this around and open the government back up again. And yes, we have big differences on a lot of things that we need to be negotiating on. All those bills that Chairman Cole and his appropriators sent out of committee, you can't have those negotiations while you're in a shutdown. And they know that. But they don't mind inflicting suffering on the American people because they want to make a point. I think the American people are going to start making points. People could pick up the phone and call their Democrat senator. We did a press call yesterday in the states of Georgia and Maryland, where all 4 senators there could literally end this today, but they've all been 5 times voting no on the bill to get the government back open. It was ironic. The Maryland delegation of Democrats held a press conference just days ago talking about how bad a shutdown will be for the state of Maryland. And they're right. The irony is they're the ones who voted to shut it down. Over 150 employees in the state of Maryland alone will be hurt, and their own Democrat delegation is saying how bad it's going to be, yet they're the ones who voted to inflict that, quote, suffering on the people of Maryland. This madness can end. This madness needs to end with sanity finally emerging. Bring some common sense in. And Chuck Schumer, if you can't do the right thing because you're so afraid of your political job, think about the jobs of millions of families out there who don't want to have that suffering inflicted on them. And let 4 other of your Senate Democrat colleagues do the right thing for you. Let's end this. Our whip. Tom Emmer.
Eight days. We are now 8 days into the Democrats' shutdown. 8 days that our troops are not getting paid. Border Patrol agents are going without mission-critical funding. Federal workers are being forced to figure out how they're going to put food on the table for their families. all because Democrats would rather hold the American people hostage to appease their radical base than to pass our clean, nonpartisan government funding bill. As of this morning, Senate Democrats have had 5 opportunities to get the government up and running again for the people they were elected to serve. And the vast majority of them have voted no every single time. Their obstruction is not only a slap in the face to hardworking Americans whose livelihoods are being put at risk due to the Democrat shutdown, it's also a slap in the face to the constituents who fund their salaries with the expectation that they fulfill their basic constitutional responsibilities. In my hand, I have more than a dozen pages of organizations from across the country representing Americans from every end of the political spectrum, echoing the exact same message. And that message is that government shutdowns solves nothing and hurts everyone. So to our Democrat colleagues in the Senate, enough with the political grandstanding. Do the right and responsible thing by passing the House's clean CR immediately. Americans are already hurting. People's jobs are at stake. You can and must end the political games and reopen the government today. And with that, I turn it over to our conference chair, Lisa McClain.
Good morning, everybody. Again and again, Democrats have chosen to put illegal aliens over hardworking Americans. That is not my opinion. That is fact. Read the bill. Democrats let millions of illegals pour in across our border under Joe Biden. Democrats gave them driver's license. Democrats allowed them to cast ballots in elections. And now Democrats are fighting. They are fighting to give illegals health care on your dime. Democrats want to take money out of your pockets and give them to illegal aliens so they can get government benefits. These aren't my opinions. These are actual facts. Go to the website and read the facts, right? But what Democrats do when they have no plan, no vision, and no leader, they have to misrepresent the truth. And they do that over and over again, and they think you, the American people, aren't going to notice. They're not going to notice. You're not going to notice that they're taking money out of your pockets and giving them to illegals. They're going to try and put their spin on it. But I challenge you, go to the website and read it for yourself. When Democrats have the choice between standing up for American people or catering to the illegal aliens, what do? They choose illegals every single time and time again. And that's exactly what they're doing again in this government shutdown fight. Democrats are putting illegals above American citizens. So I ask the Democrats, how long will it take you to put Americans first in this funding fight? I ask our senators, Senator Peters and Slotkin, when are you going to put the American people first? The people that elected you to represent them. How many times will you vote against our troops? I ask Senator Peters and Senator Slotkin, how many times are you going to vote not to pay our troops? How many times will you vote against moms and babies who rely on WIC? Against flood insurance? How many times will you vote to put illegals first and Americans last? The answer to that question is as long as the radical base keeps calling the shots. My 2 senators are pandering to their radical base as well. Republicans, however, are actually putting Americans first every single day. And why? Because that's our job. That's our duty. And quite frankly, that is our responsibility. And I call on the Democrats, especially the 2 Democrats from my state, Senator Peters and Senator Slotkin, please Put the American people who you represent first.
We'll take a few questions. Yes, ma'am.
Speaker Johnson, thank you. Do you agree that the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois should be in prison?
Should they be in prison? Should the mayor of Chicago and the governor of Illinois be in prison? I'm not the attorney general. I'm the Speaker of the House, and I'm trying to manage the chaos here. I'm not following the day-to-day on that. I do know that they've resisted the introduction of, or the offering of National Guard troops in Chicago, which is a terribly dangerous city and has been destroyed in the process of being destroyed under liberal Democrat governance and their terrible policies. I would just cite for you in response Exhibit A, which is the District of Columbia. All of you were able to walk safely into the Capitol today, and you can park your cars blocks away and walk back to your cars, and you're not in fear of having your purse snatched or your car being jacked or being assaulted. And why is that? Because President Trump had enough of it. He's a strong leader in the Oval Office, and he used the resources that were available to him, the National Guard, to bring order to the chaos. The Democrat mayor of the District of Columbia ultimately said, thank you so much for the reinforcements, and you're all enjoying the spoils of good policy and return to the rule of law. If we could do that in the other major cities in the country where they're having terrible crime crises, that should be seen as a positive, and I think most Americans see it that way. If you're a resident of Chicago or New Orleans or one of these other Democrat-run cities, you've had enough. You're tired of your family walking in fear and not being able to enjoy their lives, and if President Trump can use the resources and do it in a lawful manner to allow National Guard troops to help bring order and restore the rule of law, that is something that is wildly popular with the American people. Now, if you have elected officials in some of these states who are committed to their radical, soft-on-crime ideology and defunding the police and all the things the Democrat Party championed for the last several years, and they want to stand by that, we encourage them to do so. We'll see what the people think about it. Yes, sir. Back row.
Speaker Johnson, a lot of the free health care for illegal aliens that you've been talking about is care provided in emergency rooms, which are required by federal law to care for anybody, even if they can't pay, even if they're not a citizen. Do you think that that law should be changed?
No. You're talking about EMTALA, which has been part of the law for most of my life. Emergency care is provided without question to anyone who comes in. If you're hemorrhaging and you show up in an emergency room, you get treated. That's something we all support. That's a very good law. We're in favor of it. You're cherry picking a tiny subset of the issues. We put, and go to it's still on the website, speaker.gov, look at page 57, section 2141 of Chuck Schumer's counter-proposal CR that he filed. There's 6 categories of things that they would like to restore funding to, and it adds up to $192.8 billion, almost $200 billion of hardworking taxpayer funds that would go to support illegal aliens and other non-citizens. Now, with regard to EMTALA, are we saying change the law? No. But one of the things they're doing, and one of the things that Chuck Schumer is advocating for and has filed in the law and is using as a leverage point to keep the government shut down, is he literally wants to reimburse hospitals more money for treating illegal aliens than American citizens. Fact. Go look it up. Go look on the website. Don't take my word for it. We're not doing that. If you're a young, pregnant American citizen woman who shows up in an ER and you get treated and they pay the hospital less for treating you than some illegal rabble-rouser who came in from some, South American country to do us harm, that is wrong. The Republican Party stands for common sense. In the big, beautiful bill, we fix that. And Chuck Schumer wants to unwind it, and it is unconscionable to me that he's inflicting all this pain on American citizens so they can play games and try to appease the radical left base. That's what this is. Back, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 2 questions about federal worker pay. One, is it your understanding that federal workers will be repaid after this shutdown as part of current law? And 2, would you allow a UC, for example, for the military to ensure that they would be paid in the shutdown?
Those are 2 questions. Federal workers, it's my understanding that the law is that they would be paid. There is some other legal analysis that's floating around. I have yet had time to dig into and read that. But it has always been the case, that is tradition, and I think it is statutory law that federal employees be paid, and that's my position. I think they should be. They should not be subjected to harm and financial dire straits because Chuck Schumer wants to play political games. With regard to paying the troops, I want everybody to listen to me very carefully. Hakeem Jeffries and the House Democrats, as Leader Scalise said so well, are clamoring to get back here and have another vote because some of them want to get on record and say they're for paying the troops. We already had that vote. It's called the CR. Every Republican and at least one Democrat had the common sense to say, of course we want the government to stay in operation. Of course we want to pay our troops and our air traffic controllers and our Border Patrol agents, TSA, and everybody else. We did have that vote. The House, I keep saying the House did its job. We did that almost 3 weeks ago. And every Democrat in the House except one voted against it. They voted that they did not want the troops to be paid. They did not want TSA agents to be paid. They did not want air traffic controllers, Border Patrol agents, and all the rest. They live with that vote. They made that decision. The House is done. The ball is now in the Senate's court. It does us no good to be here dithering on show votes. We did it. We sent the product over. It is clean. It is 24 pages in length. It's the most bare minimum that's necessary to keep the lights on for the people. And Chuck Schumer and 43 of his colleagues, Democrats, continue to do the wrong thing. We're not having it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Democrats continue to allege that the Republican-controlled Senate can change the rules to push through the shutdown impasse. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is also now saying the same. Is there any validity to this, and what sort of precedent would that set for a future Democrat-controlled Senate?
Well, I'd lead the House, but the Senate has its own rules. Some of them are arcane, and when you're in the minority, you don't like it a lot. The filibuster is a tradition over there that's been maintained by both parties whenever they've been in the majority for a long, long time, and they can make a very compelling case as to why that's true. Now, could you go nuclear and blow that all up and end the filibuster once and for all and allow everything for only majority party vote, 51 votes in the Senate? I mean, is it possible? Yes. Is it wise? You can have a lot of people who would tell you it's not. I mean, on the Republican side, I would be deeply concerned if the Democrats had a bare majority in the Senate right now, a Marxist ideology taking over the Democrat Party. Do I want them to have no safeguards and no stumbling blocks or hurdles at all in the way of turning us into a communist country? I don't think that's a great idea. That's me. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander, as they always say. And there are some safeguards in the process that were built in a long, long time ago to prevent one party just running roughshod. Now, there's a big contrast between what I just said and the issue that is before us today. We're not asking Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to do anything different than what they've always done. We've shown you the highlight reel. Chuck Schumer gave impassioned speeches as recently as 7 months ago in March of this year. He said, we have to keep the government open. It would be dangerous and harmful to the American people. He said after the vote, he went on CNN and said, I'm proud of that vote. I didn't like it, but we had to do that. He was right then. He is not right now. We're not asking the Democrats to do anything heroic. We're asking them to do their basic duty and responsibility, as Chairwoman McClain said. Keep the government open. The first responsibility, I'm sorry, I'm aggravated. The first responsibility of the government is to protect the people. And the people who are supposed to be protected are being completely cheated by Democrats in the Senate because they want to play politics. They hate Donald Trump. I mean, they have Trump derangement syndrome. It's very real. Listen to their own comments. And they have to show a fight at any cost. When does that cost become too high? In our view, it already has. They have another chance today to reopen the government, and we'll see if they do the right thing. I pray that they do, because real people are being affected by the games here, and they're sick of it. Thanks so much.
blackout chicken fried, and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of a precious child, and know a mother's love gets a little chicken fried, and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio up. I like to see the sunrise, see the love in my woman's eyes, feel the touch of my precious child, and know a mother's love. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Hip, hip.
222. You guys want to press check? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Press malt check. 1, 2. Do you guys want to take a listen? Lectern level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2. Hey, yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, hey, 1, 2. Good.
Everybody's chilling as I set up the groove, pumping up the volume with this brand new beat. Everybody's dancing and they're dancing for me. I'm your operator, you can call anytime. I'll be your connection to the party line. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, so you better. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. Get this party started. Get this party started right now. Get this party started. Get this party started. We'll do it all. Everything on our own. We don't need anything or anyone. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? I don't quite know how to say how I feel. Those 3 words I said too much. They're not enough. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me a garden that's bursting into life. Let's waste time chasing cars around our heads. I need your grace. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? Forget what we're told before we get too old. Show me a garden that's bursting into life. All that I am, all that I ever was, is here in your perfect eyes. They're all I can see. I don't know where, confused about how as well. Just know that these things will never change for us at all. If I lay here, if I just lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world? I know it sounds cliche, we're making eyes across the pool all day, and I don't need you, but it feels that way, and I don't just wants to know that you're well. In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. As it was. As it was. You know it's not the same. Go home, get headlines, feed internet. I don't wanna talk about the way that it was. Leave America, 2 kids follow her. I don't wanna talk about us doing it first. As it was. You know it's not the same as it was. As it was. As it was.
Okay, this one's for Gabby.
All I can say is that my life is pretty plain. I like watching the puddles gather rain. And all I can do is just pour some tea for two and speak my point of view, but it's not sane. It's not sane. I just want someone to say to me, no, I'll always be there when you wait. You know I like to keep my cheeks dry today. So stay with me and I'll have it made. And I don't understand why I sleep all day. every day. Yeah. Ooh, baby, I love your way every day. Shadows grow so long before my eyes, and they're moving across the page. Suddenly the day turns into night, far away from the city.
Don't start yet.
All right.
Oh, Matt, you guys come on.
This is easy. Yeah, this is How you doing? Good to see you. All right. All right. Oh, man. Good to see you. All of you.
Hey, brothers and sisters, how are you? Good to see you. How are you? How are you? Oh, love you. God is good.
Okay. Brittany? You good? Okay. Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Everett Kelly. I am the national president of the American Federation of Government Employees, representing 800,000 federal and D.C. government workers. Let me start this morning with a simple truth. Every day this government stays shut down, real people are hurting. Hundreds of thousands of dedicated public servants, the people who inspect our food, protect our borders, provide health care for our military families, keep our communities safe, are doing their jobs without pay. Or they're sitting at home wondering how they're going to make ends meet. Many of them are veterans just like me. I served in the United States Army, and I spent a life in public service because I believe in this country. I believe in what America can do when we work together. And right now, many families are paying the price for political gridlocks. This isn't about one party or the other. It's about real people. It's about the family in Georgia wondering how to cover next month's mortgage. The correctional officer's worrying about his next paycheck. The TSA officer who still shows up to work because he or she loves their country, even though they are not getting paid. No American should ever have to choose between serving their country and feeding their family. No, that's not what America is all about. This is not who we are. But that's exactly the choice being faced by federal employees who are furloughed or working without pay. We cannot debate politics, priorities, and programs. That's part of our democracy. But as Americans, at the end of the day, we must come together, find a common ground, and move forward as a nation. Federal employees have always answered the call, and we always will, through wars, disaster, and pandemics. These Americans run toward danger and conflict, not away from danger. They kept this nation on solid footing when everything else felt uncertain. And they keep doing it. They keep doing it because service is who we are. They are the best of Americans. So today I call on leaders from both parties to sit down together, work out your differences, and find a solution that reflects the best of America, just like federal employees do every single day. I call on you today to put people over politics. Let's end this shutdown and get back to the business of serving the American people all together. And so, brothers and sisters, that's what this is all about. We want to do this because we know it's right. So, brothers and sisters, next I want to call on my brother, Matt Biggs, my brother. And it's a pleasure to introduce him, the president of the International Federation of Professional and Technical Engineers, IPET, my brother, Matt Biggs. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm honored to be here today. Thanks, everybody, for being here. IFPTE, we represent 34,000 federal workers across government agencies. Some of them are working today, and some of them aren't. There's roughly 620,000 federal employees that are furloughed. When you can do the math, there's roughly about 2 million federal employees. So the difference, the other folks are working. What they all have in common is they're not getting paid. They're not getting a paycheck. Now, despite what this OMB director, Russ Vought, thinks, these are working families. These are workers, working Americans that have families, that live paycheck to paycheck, that have to pay bills, have to put food on the table. And denying them a paycheck is simply cruel. It's cruel. And keep in mind, these federal employees have nothing to do with this government shutdown. Most of them are still showing up and they're working every single day. IFPTE, we represent workers at the Department of Defense, as all of these unions do, or most of them. And they're showing up and they're doing their work to help our fighting men and women and protect the defense of this nation. And what do they get in return? They get OMB Director Russ Vought, who says they may not even get a paycheck.
Yeah.
That is deplorable. It's shameful. Now, IFPT, I echo Brother Kelly's message to the Congress. Come together. Republicans, Democrats, come together. Let's reopen this government. And we implore President Trump to come to the table and work with both sides, Democrats and Republicans, and reopen this government. And we also, at IFPT, we also implore Congress to protect their appropriating authority. When Congress appropriates money and they designate money for these agencies, the executive branch should not have the ability to impound the money or spend the money any way they want. So when Congress appropriates the money, they have to protect their authority to be able to decide how the money's spent. So we urge Congress, number one, reopen the government and get our people their paychecks. And number two, Congress, in bipartisan way, protect your co-equal branch of government responsibility by protecting your ability to designate spending. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So
Thank you, man.
I'm honored right now to introduce my union sister, Flight Attendants President, Sarah Nelson.
All right, Sarah. Here we go, Sarah.
Thank you, Matt. My name is Sarah Nelson. I'm the president of the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, representing 55,000 flight attendants at 20 different airlines. And we count on federal workers every single day to do our jobs. Hundreds of thousands of aviation workers, both federal sector and private sector, ask all day long, is it safe? We do that so the American public who travels with us can take safety and security for granted. Right now, TSA officers are coming to work, making good on their oath to the Constitution, to all of us, to keep us safe. Air traffic controllers are coming to work, making good on their oath to the country, just like they do every single day, understaffed and under-resourced by this government. They are coming to work under an increasingly unsafe scenario, because in safety we know that the first rule is to remove all distractions in order to keep things safe. What could be more of a distraction than not getting a paycheck? Not knowing if you're going to be able to keep your family in your home. Not knowing if you're going to be able to buy that insulin that you need to keep your child alive. Not knowing that you're going to be able to make good on what the people who count on you and love you need you to do. In all of our communities, all across this country, this is not just about Washington, D.C. Federal workers serve in every single one of our communities around this country. And the people who are not getting paychecks are not paying their cable bill. They're not going to be able to pay their rent. They're not going to be able to pay for the other services. And that is going to have a ripple effect on all of us. Now, they take an oath and they take it seriously. And those who are required to come to work without the backing of the cybersecurity people who are on furlough, without the backing of the administrative people who help our people in the Social Security Administration make sure that our veterans and our other retirees continue to get their paychecks, without the ability to have food inspectors and water inspectors on board to make sure that all of us stay safe in our communities. This is putting the rest of us increasingly at risk. This is a dangerous game. And the oath and the commitment that these federal workers are showing to all of us right now is something that Senate Majority Leader John Thune should emulate, not exploit. This is not a political game. We have two crises before us, a dismantling of our healthcare system and millions of people about to lose their healthcare, and federal workers who are going without work and without a paycheck, or at work and being told that they won't even get back pay in violation of the law. Both crises can be solved with one vote. And we call on the Senate Majority Leader to work in a bipartisan fashion and all members of the Senate to bring us to a resolution to solve both crises today. They have the power and the ability to do that, and they need to act like the federal workers who stand up for all of us and keep us safe in our communities. Flight attendants stand with them. We stand with all federal workers. We stand for our Constitution, and we stand for the principles that are in this country that is first and foremost about making sure that in our communities we remain safe with solidarity for everyone around us. Thank you very much. And now, let me just say, it's not just flight attendants. It is millions of transportation workers who stand with federal workers in this fight for justice. Greg Regan is the president of the Transportation Trades Department, representing millions of transportation workers. Greg.
All right, thank you. As Sarah mentioned, I'm Greg Regan, president of the Transportation Trades Department, AFL-CIO. We represent 39 unions across all modes of transportation, public sector and private sector. And Sarah did an excellent job of highlighting the problems and the risks associated with aviation and what happens there. But this is about safety and about project delivery across the country. Every single American that relies on our infrastructure system, on our transportation, is being affected by this, by ways they understand and that are obvious, and ways they may not see. We're talking about delays of projects of national importance, like Gateway, that is the busiest rail corridor in the country. We're talking about massive planning projects that are being delayed. We're talking about safety inspections, not just the TSA workers and the air traffic controllers and the safety specialists, inspectors. All of those are being impacted negatively, but also railroad inspections, also transit projects. The American people and the workers who keep this country running are being held hostage by a political dispute, by a petty political dispute that they have nothing to do with. This is entirely vindictive, and the only victims are going to be this country. We've all seen the reports. Every single time we go through this stupid process of a shutdown, how much the American taxpayers lost because of the shutdown. It costs us money just to restart everything. It is a drain on our economy. It's a drain on our safety. It's a drain on the people that live here. So we need to put this to an end. Get serious about negotiating. Get serious about solving problems. Get as serious as the federal employees who are out there every single day going to work with the uncertainty of not knowing when they're going to get paid. We need the members of Congress to do the exact same thing and get serious about putting our people first. Putting federal employees first, putting taxpayers first, putting safety first. All of that is at risk right now, and with every second, every minute, every hour that this goes on, we put all of these systems further at risk. So get serious. Get to the table. There is a solution right in front of us. We should not be putting other people at risk. We should not be putting federal employees under all of this strain, and we should have some continuity and certainty in the largest government in the world. We are the richest government in the world. Let's act like it. Let's start actually doing our jobs. And let's put the American people first. With that, I would like to introduce the National Association of Government Employees Federal Division Director, Lee Blackman.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and thank you, President Kelly, for scheduling this very important press conference. My name is Lee Blackman. As stated, I'm the Director of the National Association of Government Employees, SAIU Federal Division. NAGE was founded nearly 65 years ago to give federal employees at the Charleston Navy Shipyard a voice in the workplace. Today, we proudly represent more than 100,000 workers across the federal, state, municipal, and private sectors. Federal employees are hard-working public servants, not this pawn in anyone's political game. Using a government shutdown to threaten permanent job cuts is unprecedented, cruel, and deeply harmful. Not only do workers put American people who depend on vital services at risk. A normal shutdown means that paychecks for furloughed employees until Congress restores funding. But what this administration is proposing goes even further. A reduction in force is not temporary. It's a permanent job loss, the loss of benefits, disrupted careers, and devastating and harms families and communities. Federal agencies and their employees are already stretched to a breaking point. Recent cuts, the deferred resignation, agency restructuring have already weakened critical public services. And now the administration is threatening to go even further, violating the law by refusing to pay employees as required under the Employee Fair Protection Act of 2019, signed, please note, signed by President Trump after his first 35-day shutdown that year. But enough is enough. As everyone here has already said, we are calling on Congress to do their job, reach a bipartisan funding agreement that protects Americans, respects federal workers, and ends this ridiculous shutdown immediately. Enough is enough. We've seen enough of this. So the men and women who serve this country every day deserve respect, stability, and fair treatment, not this political punishment. So thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to, of course, introduce the Assistant General Counsel, President of Government Affairs and Political Action, Chris Blue Bartley.
Good morning. Again, my name is Chris Bartley with the International Association of Firefighters. And this morning, for the 8th day, thousands of federal firefighters have showed up to work this morning knowing they won't be paid due to this government shutdown. What's happening in D.C. right now is a textbook example of political gamesmanship. When lawmakers use shutdowns and brinkmanship as leverage, it's not just abstract policy, it hits real people. Like federal firefighters who show up to protect our military bases and other critical federal facilities without pay. These games have consequences. Families go without incomes. Morale and retention suffer. Public safety is compromised. The IFF is calling for a clean, continuing resolution because it's not about politics, it's about responsibility.
That's right.
Federal firefighters are doing their jobs. Congress needs to stop playing games and do theirs. Yes. So we have to end this shutdown. Now I want to bring up next speaker, AFT Executive Vice President Evelyn De Jesus.
All right, Evelyn.
Buenos dias. How we doing? My name is Evelyn De Jesus, and I serve as the Executive Vice President right next door at the AFT, whose 1.8 million members, including the leaders here with me today, work in education, healthcare, and public services, and we also have federal employees in all 50 states and in Puerto Rico. And I'm also National President of LACLA, and I want to say that, make no mistake, we've heard about the safety issues. We heard about the firefighters. We heard about how can we make America safe again? Yeah. So let's be clear. Make no mistake, Republicans shut down the government because Democrats would not agree to take away health care for millions of working people and families, raising their costs. Democrats voted to fund the government, not to defund health care. Right now, people's premiums are about to explode, can you imagine, by thousands of dollars because of the big, ugly bill, which ripped $911 billion out of Medicaid, with 60 million Americans set to lose their insurance at ACA premiums spiking it up to 75%. Republicans, they control the House. They control the Senate. They control the White House. They choose to shut down the government down rather than pass a budget that serves the American people. The American people support a bipartisan budget that doesn't eliminate tax credits or health care or give new tax breaks to corporations and to the wealthy. We call on those in power, negotiate a solution, one that protects health care, lowers everyday costs, reopens the government, and helps rather than hurts the American people. Let's make America safe again. Let's make America the land of the free and the brave. Let's make America the place where everybody wants to come to and everyone wants to live. Labor's in the house, and we're together. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I want to introduce my brother, National Federation of Federal Employees, National President Randy Irwin. Come on down.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Despite this rain, I'm going to persevere.
All right.
So I'm the National President of NFE, National Federation of Federal Employees, represent 110,000 federal workers nationwide. First, I want to thank federal employees for the incredible work that they do every single day. They're keeping our military ready, caring for our cherished veterans, caring for all of our national parks and forests and lands, maintaining our national security, and literally countless other essential tasks that the American people rely on. So I'm proud to be here with all my friends here in labor today. Wow. Thank you to all these leaders and workers from all of these different sectors standing in solidarity with federal employees. You know, we can't thank you enough for that.
I'm elating our postal workers right now.
So our hardworking civil servants and the American people who rely on their work every day, they deserve better than what they are getting from their elected leaders in this country right now. Once again, our dedicated federal employees, who are the backbone of this country, are being used as political pawns. These are middle-class folks. Nearly 1/3 of federal employees are veterans, and they are being treated like dirt by our elected leaders who cannot seem to do their jobs and reach an agreement on spending. That's their first job to do, and they don't seem to give a damn about it. We are a week into this shutdown, and from the looks of things, there is no end in sight. Hold that up a little higher. A little higher. Now, don't get it wrong. Federal employees make 25% less than private sector workers doing the exact same jobs. Many federal employees live paycheck to paycheck and cannot sustain any time with suspended pay. We got a lot of folks out in the Forest Service, Park Service, and other low-paid. GS3 is making $32,000 a year. They can't afford to go without pay for any period of time. They won't be able to feed their families. They're not going to be able to pay their rent. They're not going to be able to buy medicine. They're not going to be able to do any of the things that they need to do. They're living close to poverty already. We can't allow this shutdown to go on for weeks on end like it did in 2019. Now, to make matters worse for federal employees, just days ago, the Trump administration directed agencies to consider widespread firings due to this shutdown. Now, the law is very clear. This administration has no new authority to engage in mass layoffs because of a government shutdown. This means that the administration is doing one of two things. Either they intend to violate the law, okay, and when the president violates the law, he's violating the Constitution. Article 2, Section 3 says he must faithfully execute the laws of this country. So he intends to either violate the law or he was just grating, frightening, antagonizing hardworking federal employees whose only crime is caring and wanting to work for the American people.
Right.
It's despicable. One second.
Sorry, man.
Boy, all right. Well, I lost my last page. Let me see if I can wrap this up. What has been happening is illegal. What OMB Director Vogt has done. The president came out just yesterday, okay, and he says, I'm going to pick and choose which federal employees that I give back pay to. Okay, so once again, he is indicating that he's going to violate the law and do something that's unconstitutional and despicably, not treat people fairly like we should in this country, okay, but pick and choose whether he's going to give back pay to the federal employees that he likes and not give federal employees to the ones that he doesn't like, okay? The president, his job is to serve this country, not treat the U.S. Treasury like his private piggy bank. That's the American people's money. How dare you go out there and say, I'm gonna give back pay to the people that I like and not for the people that I don't like. We are in a dangerous spot in this country when the president thinks that he can just, ignore laws that are written in plain English. That law that you must give back pay to federal employees, okay? That is written in plain English, and he's just telling the American people that he's gonna ignore it, okay? Nobody, I don't care who you are, I don't care what side of the aisle on, it doesn't matter. You got a Constitution, you gotta faithfully execute the Constitution, and he's ignoring it. Yeah. And so both parties and every American should be furious with the threats that this president is making to federal employees in this country, okay? So Congress, do your damn job. Yeah. Do your damn job and pass a budget. That's gonna require a little compromise. Yeah. It's not a one-sided thing. If you don't have a bill, you haven't done your job. Yeah. So do your job, and this president, you better start obeying the Constitution. You better start obeying the Constitution. It's gonna get real ugly if you don't follow the laws and obey the Constitution like you swore an oath to do.
Open the government today. All right, let me hear you. Let me hear everybody say it. Open the government today. Open the government today. Open the government today. Open the government today. All right, thank you all. Thank you. I want to thank all of my brothers and sisters in this labor movement for showing up today and standing in solidarity with AFGE. You know, and the reason we're here today is because we believe, just like the sister said, enough is enough, right? Yeah. How many of y'all believe that? Say enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Listen, we are here to stand for this government to be open. We're tired of the shakedown. We want real workers in Congress. We want somebody that's going to come and get the job done. Somebody just going to show up and do that job. That's what we want, right?
Yes.
Let me hear you. Is that what we want?
Yes.
Yes, that's what we want. Congress, do your job, because we're going to stand together as family until this job gets done. If it's not done soon, we'll be back, and we'll be back more furious. Thank you. I love you all. Let's get to work. We're going to do our job. Congress, do yours. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
Take questions?
Questions?
Yes, if anybody wants to take any questions.
Okay. All right. Elect the right leader.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that, elect the leader that's going to stand for working America.
Who would you say that is?
I tell you who I endorsed.
Who's that?
Bamberger.
Why is that?
Because she stands for working people. She believes in it.
You think she'd do a better job handling the shutdown?
I think she would.
How so?
I think she would stand for working people. I think she would speak up. She wouldn't sit down and just hope that things get better. She would get out there and make things better. Okay?
She was the most bipartisan member of Congress. If she were in charge, there would be no shutdown.
What are your thoughts on folks who think that Democrats should use the shutdown as leverage to get some sort of assurances or concessions for Republicans versus just trying to end it as quickly as possible?
My only concern is this. I represent 820,000 federal and D.C. government workers, and I want to see them get a paycheck. That's my question. That's my answer.
What are you going to do about if the president does, in fact, fire people and not give people back pay?
We think that's illegal, and we will fight him in court.
Absolutely.
Have you considered suing him preemptively? Like you have in
We
some other cases?
we have.
And are you going to?
We have.
Considering it.
We're-
Next question. For the back pay.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Maybe I misunderstood your question. I'm sorry about that. Okay?
Generally, the Democrat argument that there has to be an extension of Obamacare tax credits, do you think that is a valid argument to, I guess, in a way,
shutdown until Republicans compromise on that?
You know, I think that every American have a right to health care. I am not here to discuss health care. I'm here to try to get 820,000 people paid, right? And provide the services for the American people that they deserve.
Anybody else that you want to add something, Randy or Matt?
Yeah, please feel free.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a critically important issue, no doubt about it. It needs to be addressed.
Yes.
At this point, yeah, it's healthcare and the ACA credits are critically important. And like Brother Everett said, we want everyone to have healthcare in this country. Right now, however, our members aren't getting a paycheck, and we need to get our people back to work. And we also want the healthcare addressed, no doubt about it. It shouldn't be an either or. I'll just say that. But top of the priority list is we need our members back to work. And again, these are working families. They live paycheck to paycheck, just like all of us here. They have children. They have to put food on the table. They have to pay mortgage. So we need to get our people back to work. That should be the priority.
Thank you. Yes. What I'm saying is simple, right? Open the government, come and sit down and have those discussions and resolve those differences. But open the government so that the American people can get the services that they deserve, and the people that I represent can get their paycheck and pay their mortgages, take care of their children, buy their insulin, buy their medication, whatever they need to do, because they're just like the rest of America. 65% of America work from paycheck to paycheck, and the people that I represent is no different. So we want to make sure that they get their paycheck so they can live.
Okay, but the way that it's being paired is healthcare and reopening the government. Are you saying they got to do both, or you want to just see them reopen?
I'm saying very simply, okay, very simply, that they can reopen the government now. I think they should. I think they should open the government today, okay, today, and whatever that entails, because people are suffering, okay, and the federal employees should not every 6 months be used as political pawns.
All right, next question.
But to her point, if I may, because I want to get to that and be crystal clear, are you saying put the healthcare stuff aside and just get us open and then negotiate later?
I'm saying open the government so that employees can get the pay that they deserve, the American people can get the services that they deserve, and then come together in a bipartisan way and discuss whatever you need to discuss to get a budget.
But they can't open the budget till they, or open the government till they decide on the continuing.
I think they can open the government today. I think it's a choice.
For those here, have you heard anything concrete when it comes to reductions in force? It's been something the president's been talking about, but then says, I'll let you know in 3 or 4 days, and then that timeline will get extended. Like, have you heard anything concrete yet?
Look at the president's budget, because the president right now, his agencies are implementing his budget. So if you want to see where they're planning to do reductions in force, look at his budget. At NASA is a good example.
Yep.
Everett and I, we did a big event up at there in space to try and bring transparency to that. This president wants to cut NASA's science budget by nearly 50%, cut the Aero budget by almost 40%. They are implementing that budget right now illegally. This is why I talked about impoundments. Illegally. If you just look at his budget and you'll see where they want to riff folks. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a
It's a
budget
request.
request.
It's a
That is
request.
not a,
It's not law.
Yeah, that's a budget request. It's a request of Congress to fund programs at the levels that the president is asking for. But that is not law by any stretch. That is not, has no force law. It is a political document more than anything else. And I do want to add also, I think it's a really sad state of affairs for the U.S. Congress that the only point to try to actually solve real problems is under the, using the federal government and a shutdown as the leverage point. I think, yes, there's a conversation about bifurcating those two issues of healthcare and funding, but I think Congress should be looking in the mirror right now, if anything, that if the only way we're going to solve real problems in this country is to use the federal workers that are keeping the country running as pawns, that's a really sad state of affairs for the U.S. Congress right now.
And just so the record is straight, I'm not here to say that Democrats should fold or Republicans should fold. I'm saying that both of them should come together, resolve these issues, and open the government today because they can. Okay?
The American people, and in closing, it should just be clear what the message is. People are hurting day in and day out. Right now, families are coming to the table, looking at their budgets and seeing what they can do without. And sometimes that means looking at, okay, do I pay the electric bill? Do I pay the mortgage? Do I let my car note go? Or do we buy food for our children? And the congressional leaders who are, in fact, getting paid during this time, while the American people are not, to President Kelly's statement, they need to look at themselves in the mirror and determine what's important. So put the differences aside, come to the table, do your job, don't recess, work until the 11th hour and get the job done and make those compromises.
Last question. You guys have filed like a lot of lawsuits against the Trump administration. Can you just talk about the effectiveness of that strategy? Like, do you feel like you're having wins that you want more people to know about, or how do you feel about the role you're playing in protecting federal workers?
We have filed several lawsuits, and we're winning those lawsuits. But I have my general counsel here. Let me let him come tell you, what's happening with the lawsuits because they are winning. Okay, this administration is going rogue, and they are going to pay for it. Okay, Rashad, he wanted to know some things about the lawsuits.
Sure. Sure. I'm Rashab Sanghvi. I'm the general counsel of AFGE.
Yeah, I guess my question is just like, you filed some lawsuits. Like, do you feel like you're being successful at using that as a strategy to defend the rights of your members, or just how are you thinking about this strategy of defending the rights of your members?
I think we've been very successful, right? I think many of the lawsuits we've filed have resulted in the rescission of RIFs that haven't been reinstated. You can look at our probationary employee case, along with the state of Maryland had another case. It resulted in the reinstatement of several thousand probationary employees who were not then terminated. So we believe that the lawsuits are having an effect not only in sort of tangible relief that has helped our members, but also in highlighting the egregious nature of what the administration is doing. And we believe the courts have highlighted that as well in their decisions. So.
It doesn't seem like they're letting up. So is this the strategy is to keep filing lawsuits, or is there any kind of escalation in tactics? Like, I don't know what the thinking is.
I mean, I can only speak from our office's perspective in terms of, we'll continue to file lawsuits when they act unlawfully, right? We're going to vindicate our rights just like any other American, right? So.
Gotcha. Understood. Thank you.
All right, we gotta wrap. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.
Good job. Some circumstances there a little bit. Way to hang in there.
Thank you.
Way to hang in there, guys.
Yeah.
Mr. Cornyn, aye. Ms. Also Brooks, no. Ms. Hirono, no. Mr. Grassley, aye. Mr. Durbin, no. Ms. Hassan, no. Mr. Banks, aye. Ms. Rosen, no. Mr. Gallego, no. Mrs. Fisher, aye.